Welcome to the Social Stack, your go-to channel to learn about real estate marketing based in technology. I'm Amy Stack, and today I'm excited to share that we have a super special guest. The HomeKeepr team is here with us to share their secret on how to extend your relationship beyond the closing table with automatic touches. Before we get started, if this is your first time here and you want to learn more about marketing and social media for your real estate business, start now by subscribing to my channel. Just go ahead and click that red subscribe button and then that bell icon to make sure you get new content notifications. You guys ready to get going? See lots of nods, thumbs ups, awesome. Well, what I want to do is remind you guys that in the MREA, or the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, it teaches us that when you have 1,926 contacts in your data bank and you work it with the right system, you will actually net $1 million. All right, does that sound good to you guys? So I know a lot of you have some contacts in there. Some of you have that number and that's great, but you're not seeing that net. Well, this is going to help you get to that. So with your permission, I'd love to start today with talking to you a little bit about the life of the lead. Are you guys okay with that? All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Can you guys see a whiteboard right now? Just a blank white paper. Okay, great. So what I want to do, some of you may have seen this before, is talk to you. You love my drawing on a computer skills? They're amazing, right? Let's talk to you a little bit about the life of a lead. So when you're working with clients, this is their kind of home buying, their journey, if you would. So up here is where we really like to work with them because this is where they're buying a house, right? And then the day after they buy the house, they're down here. And that's because typically people don't buy a house the day after they buy a house. So we think they're hot, they're awesome. We're super excited to work with them at the top. And then they drop down here and we kind of like, I'm not talking to them so much anymore. Does that sound right? Does that sound like you guys? I see some nods. I'm speaking to some souls today, I can tell. So what we know also from NAR is that about 80% of people say that they would work with their real estate agent again. Do you guys know how many people actually do? It's right around 30%. So the question is, how do we get from here when they're super happy, they're in that new home, they're excited, they're loving it and so willing to work with us again, to capture them again here, right? We have to stay in touch with them. So that's, some people send birthday cards, some people do client events, some people do newsletters. There's all these different touches, your quarterly call plans, all of that, right? Would you like to know something that you can do that's actually going to be automated and you can set it up one time and it'll just run for you, that's going to follow up with them with a bunch of steps right after the closing? Would that make your lives easier? Perfect. That's why you're here today, okay? We want to provide that to you. And HomeKeepr is a service that you guys have access to through Keller Williams as a Keller Williams agent for free. And now they even have an integration into Command to make their service even a higher value to you. So with that, I'd love to have David come on screen and introduce you to what HomeKeepr is, because I know some of you probably aren't really familiar. You may have heard it, but you've never used it. Some of you are using it a little bit in your business, and other people are like, how do I get the integration? So we're going to go over all of that today. And I would love to have David unmute, come in and go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll get the ball rolling with HomeKeepr.
Amy, thank you so much for that introduction. Everybody, a pleasure to meet all of you over Zoom. I was just at family reunion, again, virtually. I've been to a bunch of family reunions. We actually launched with Keller Williams in 2015 at Mega Camp. So I've been to Austin a bunch of times, and this is all to say I really miss meeting everybody. I look forward to be able to see you guys in person real soon. Until then, we're stuck with Zoom, so we move forward, right? Amy's introduction was perfect. HomeKeepr is exactly what she described it. It's a tool in your tool belt to help you stay in front of your clients with an absolute minimum of effort on your part. The idea is we're gonna do as much of this as we can for you to leverage your time, your sphere of influence, right? Your client relationships into more business for you over time. This is not about listings or open houses or just solds. You guys already do a great job with that. We can't add to that at all. But in terms of staying in front of your clients, we can put you in a great position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over briefly what the KW command integration looks like, because that is super popular with many people who have HomeKeepr accounts. That's going to be at about 1.5 minutes. Then we're getting into what HomeKeepr is generally for those of you who are new to the whole thing. And then we will get back into the details about the integration. In the chat is my colleague, the head of our client success operation, Jackie Liberto. If you have questions, type them into the chat. Jackie's going to answer them in real time. If you're watching this recording, you have a question about HomeKeepr, email support@homekeepr.com. We are in the business of helping realtors. Please avail yourself of that. Please email us anytime. We're sure to help you out. All right. Having said that, I'm going to share my screen and jump in and start talking about HomeKeepr. So, like I said, the first thing I want to do is show you briefly how the integration is working. So if you want to get started right now, you can. And then we'll get, if you're like, I don't know what even HomeKeepr is, just wait around for a minute and we'll get into it. But just to show you, we've been working with Keller Williams for years. And agents, what they do is typically is they have a CRM, now Command, and they have their clients in there. And then they want to invite a client to HomeKeepr because they want the client to get the blogs and the maintenance reminders and all the goodies we talk about. So they have to then go to HomeKeepr and enter that client information again. That's over. We solved that problem by integrating with Command. So what you can do is you can find us in the KW Marketplace. All right. Jackie might even have that link if she can share it in the chat. We're in there in the KW Marketplace. It's going to say either get started or something like try the free edition. It is free through Command. The system works. It asks you to purchase a free profile. I know it may be confusing to some people. Don't worry about it. It's free. Just go through the whole thing, place your order, and when you're done, you'll click Go to My Apps. So this is for everybody. Whether you have a HomeKeepr account or not, you got to go through this process to make this integration work. When you click Go to My Apps, you click the HomeKeepr button, okay? And what that's going to do is either log you into HomeKeepr because you already have a HomeKeepr account, or it's going to onboard you to HomeKeepr. And I'm not going to go through that whole thing right now because it's all self-explanatory. Just understand that if you already have a HomeKeepr account, but you're using a different email address, we're going to ask you to enter your HomeKeepr email address right here. All right, so that's the super, super duper quick way to get started for those of you who want to just jump right in and do it. I'm going to push pause on that. I'm going to go into what HomeKeepr does generally, how these touches work, how it lays into your touch plan for that year and that graph Amy was showing, and then we'll get back into exactly how the integration works itself. Any questions about what I've done so far? Maybe Amy in the chat or through Jackie's or something that I need to go over that I covered so far?
Nothing that I can see yet.
Okay, we're going to plow right ahead then. So what are we talking about? We're talking about keeping your clients for life. Okay, we're talking about adding value to your client's life. So how can we do that? The core of the HomeKeepr experience is you. You're it. We're just a vehicle. We're just a platform that puts you in front of your clients. And one of the core features in all this, as I go through this system, you're going to notice, is that you get to upload a list of your favorite local home service pros to help your clients. This is important, okay? Because I don't know who's good in your area. You guys are generally in the suburbs of Chicago, as far as I understand. I live in New York. I don't know anything about that area, okay? I don't know who's good. You guys do, and that's important to your clients because clients, if there's a problem with their home, they need to find a painter, plumber, electrician, contractor, right? That's a very stressful situation. Most people don't deal with it until there's a problem, and then what? Now they have a leak, they have no idea who to call, and what are their options? They can go get a stranger. Strangers can be found anywhere. Home Advisor, Thumbtack, Porch, Google, Amazon, lots of strangers to come into your home, but that's not what clients want, do they? They want a recommendation from someone they know and trust. Who do they know and trust? They know you. The second day I was in this home, I'm in my house right now. The second day we had it, 4 or 5 years ago, there was a flood in the basement. In front of the washing machine, basement flooded. I didn't know anybody in the area, but I did know someone. I knew my realtor. Called her up. She said, here's who you go to. Boom. I'll never forget her. HomeKeepr is about solving problems for your clients long-term by offering actual value. So what does that mean? Let's start talking about it. I'm going to start on the right of my phone screen. HomeKeepr is a system for you. You'll put your vendors in. There's lots of goodies. At the end of the rainbow, you invite a client to HomeKeepr. They can jump right in and use HomeKeepr without creating an account if they want to. They can access your vendor list. They can use our moving concierge, or they can create an account if they want to. If they create an account, we prompt them to download the HomeKeepr app. It's a home management app branded by you, right? Because you invited them. We know who they are. We know they're connected to you. On the front page of this app, look who's there. It's you. It's your face, your logo. They can call you, email you, or refer you to a friend right from the home page of the app. Now, I'm showing you this. Clients don't have to use this, but I want to show it to you to show you the ideas about HomeKeepr. So we go quick. You'll see only a few features. So great. The landing page is good for you. Happy days. What's in it for them? Well, inside is this directory of businesses that I mentioned. This is a demo account. Don't be bothered by all the categories. If you don't have a dance school, that's fine. We're only going to show categories where you have somebody. But the point is, it's your list. It's unique to you, right? We're putting your sphere of influence, your Rolodex, for those of you who are my age and older, your Rolodex in the hand of your clients. You're able to solve problems for them forever. So great. Now let's say they do this. They have the app. You gave it to them. They're thrilled. They go, great, I love this. I'm definitely going to need a plumber at some point or a contractor. And they close the app and they put it in their pocket and they go take their kid to soccer practice or put out some other fire they have to deal with. How are they going to remember that this app is here? How are they going to remember? We keep in touch with them for you. We do two main things to keep in front of your clients on your behalf automatically. One of them are maintenance reminders about their home in this app. I'm going to show you in 1 second. The other thing is our Client for Life program, which are our blogs and our national discounts. I'll talk about that in a minute. The maintenance reminders are right here. Now, these maintenance reminders are kind of interesting because you'll notice it says irrigation system startup. It shows what, why, and how, and there's your branding. Once a month, we send them a maintenance reminder, what, why, and how, branded to you. You might ask yourself, however, how do we know this person needs an irrigation system startup? The answer is the app is customized. They tell us about their home. Actually, you can do this for your client if you want to. You can set the whole thing up for them. But the point is, we know they have a single family home. It certainly gets cold sometimes in Chicago that's what I heard. Maybe you guys know different, right? What kind of cooling system? What kind of heating system? You can see how simple this is. Point and click, a couple basic things, and we have enough about the home to send them some reminders once a month. We don't want to be a burden. Once a month, help with the home, branded by you, plus a list of main vendors that you can provide them to help with these things. The last thing, I'm going to get to the blogs in 1 second. I want to show you one more thing about this app because consumers and realtors love this. All the appliance manuals for the home can be kept here. All the homeowner has to do is take a picture of any appliance ID tag, hit submit. We read the model and serial number. We go find the manual, the PDF of the manual on the internet, and we put it in their account. So all the appliance manuals for the home are in one spot.
That's cool.
Right here in HomeKeepr, branded by you. Okay, that's the app. There's more to HomeKeepr. That's the end of the app. You see how simple it is? We're not trying to cover every square foot of the home or take over their life. That's not reasonable. Just enough to add value and make sure you're part of their life. So let's talk about the second part of the communication strategy. And we're more than halfway done. So just hang in there with me. I'm now on the portal that you'll be logged into when you go through Command. This is your portal. This is HomeKeepr. These are all tools and things available to you. The vendor list, which I mentioned, I'll get to in a minute. My clients, I'll get to all that. I want to talk about the blogs because, again, we're talking about how do we touch your clients automatically? When they're invited to HomeKeepr, what does that mean? Well, they can download the app if they want to, but they don't have to. The blog is the other piece. What you're looking at right now, and you'll see this in your account, is the HomeKeepr blog. We write the article. I'm just going to back up for a second. We write these articles every week. We write them all about home ownership. They're about every facet of home ownership you could ever imagine, and then some more. So you'll just see here, home safety, cleaning, home improvement, mortgage, smart home, decoration, on and on and on. We write them, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to send them to you twice a week automatically. Mondays and Thursdays, you're going to get these blogs. And what's really special about them is they're branded to you. It kind of looks like you wrote them. So this is content that you're going to get twice a week that you can use anywhere you want. Social media being the best example. The most popular thing that realtors do is twice a week when they get this, they get the blog post about home ownership, they click the Facebook icon, and they pop it on their Facebook business page. Why? Everybody knows you got to have content on social media, right? What's the point of social media if you aren't talking about home ownership and trying to, make a name for yourself? But how many times can you say, hey, does anyone want to buy or sell a home? This is a value add. This is a way to be engaged with your social media networks by adding value. It just happens to be branded to you. In addition, check this out. It links back to your vendor list. So this is unique in the marketplace. You can go out there and you can write your own blog if you want to. You can pay someone to write a blog for you. But in neither of those cases is it integrated into your vendor list that's also in a mobile app that you control and is unique to you. So these blogs, again, the minute you sign up for HomeKeepr, you're going to start getting these things twice a week. But I was talking about home ownership and homeowner engagement. Homeowners you invite to HomeKeepr will get this blog once a month automatically. 12 touches a year automatically about home ownership, no listings, no open houses, nothing about you except your branding. Here you are offering value to your clients, not asking for value from them. 12 touches a year, done and dusted automatically through the HomeKeepr blog. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about HomeKeepr. We're about 2/3 done now, okay? Only one more thing I want to show you here before I get into the other major features. The vendors. Where are your vendor lists right now? If you've been in the business for any time at all, you certainly know a mortgage pro, maybe a home inspector, a good contractor, a moving company, right? If you've been in your market, if you happen to live in your market, been there for a while, I'm sure you know a ton of local businesses. How are we going to get that information into HomeKeepr? Are you going to type it all out? You can if you want to, but you don't have to. You can just send it to us. Send us a spreadsheet, send us a PDF, send us pictures of business cards. I'll show you a little trick here. If you use the Pro app, so I showed you the homeowner app, we have a Pro app, which means professional. It's for you, it's free. Doesn't mean upgrade, it just means for professional. This allows you to take information out of your phone's contacts. If your favorite plumber is in your phone's contacts, just use the Pro app, pop it in your HomeKeepr account, easy peasy. Or, and this has happened 100 times out of 100, when I go to an office, and I talk to realtors about this, they say, but I have a stack of business cards like this. That's where I keep my vendors. No problem. You go to add a vendor, right? You take a picture of the business card, just like this. Click use photo, send it to us. We'll upload it for you. So you don't have to type anything out. Just take pictures of the business cards, take a picture of a brochure, take a picture of a storefront. We don't care what it is. Just send it to us. We know you're busy. We know you've got 10 million things to do every day the minute you get up. We're trying to make life easier. Just send us the information and we will upload it for you, okay? So that's adding vendors. The last piece, I'm gonna end up with how to get started on the automation again, just to go back. But I wanna show you something here. In HomeKeepr, in these blogs, okay? When we started writing these blogs, people started to ask us two things. One, how do I get this on my website? And two, how do I automatically post it to Facebook? All I ever do is get these blogs and post it to Facebook automatically. You can do both, okay? Let's talk about your website. First, I'm going to show you an example. Here is a KW associate, whom I don't know personally, Lisa. Lisa has a command website, and on her website, look what she has. She has the HomeKeepr blog, and it updates automatically. So she always has content on her website automatically every week, twice a week, with no additional thought by her. Set it up one time and forget it. Set it and forget it, right? You heard of that? That's what this is. And you'll notice the blogs on her website are all branded to her. The way you do this is through our widgets. Now, if you are not super tech savvy, the word widget might throw you for a second. Don't let it throw you, because Amy and her team, and we can help you get this set up. All it is copy and paste. All you're doing is copying something from HomeKeepr and pasting it into Command Website Management. I promise you it's no more complicated than that. But if you remember nothing about this, if you go about your day and just have 10,000 other things to do, just know that if you go to HomeKeepr and you go to My Widgets and you scroll down, there's a step-by-step video on how to add this to KW Command. It's all there for you. So you can add these blocks to Command. Now the last piece, Jackie, if you wouldn't mind putting in the link, you can set up HomeKeepr blogs to go to your Facebook business page automatically by going to m.me/HomeKeepr. It'll take you to Facebook Messenger and you're on your way. Okay, so we talked about HomeKeepr, just to review. We talked about adding value to your clients' lives as a vehicle to get more value for you, right? You're helpful people. You want to help clients. That's why you're a realtor, okay? But on the business end of things, what you need are that deal, right? We talked about the life cycle of a lead that Amy was talking about, but also in between when they move into the home and when they sell their home, they're going to recommend you to clients all along the way. It's those warm recommendations that I've always heard that are really solid, long-term professional realtor to build up a book of business. It's all about those warm referrals and that sphere of influence. And that's what this tool is about. Staying part of your client's life to get more referrals, staying part of your client's life to get the lead when they move. Again, this is for long-term professionals in the industry. We're trying to build a book of business. Okay, before I get back into the command integration, Amy, are there any questions about a HomeKeepr that I should go over?
Yeah, we
Steve,
had
I have
one.
a few from the chat. Oh, Amy, go ahead.
We're on it, Patty. Patty said, is there a max number of vendors or clients for HomeKeepr?
Negative. There are no maximums. There are no minimums. Okay. You decide what vendors you want to add for every category. Please note, I am not a lawyer. I do not give legal advice. So what I'm going to tell you about is a business experience that I've had. I have always heard in the industry that realtors like to have a minimum of 3 in each category when recommending a business to clients. I don't know whether that's a law or not. I've always just heard it as a standard that people talk about. I think the number 3 is ideal because more than that is a chore, right? People are coming to you for an answer. If I have to look through a list of 50 mortgage pros to find your favorite mortgage pro, you're really not helping me out. I'm just overwhelmed with the choice again. I like the number 3. I have found specific instances of very niche businesses where there really is only 1 or 2 choices in a given marketplace. You can find really obscure things. If there's a particular lawyer for a particular thing you like, in my town, there's really only 2 companies to get fuel oil from. So people do have less than 3. It's not the end of the world as a business matter. Look, the rule of number 3, you have to decide for yourself. But I would say more than 3 is not a great idea. For clients, you will see here that your plan is limited to 1,000 or 2,000 clients. That's just so you don't go dumping 10,000 names from a database in there and get hit with spam. You can add as many clients as you want to HomeKeepr. We just may ask you to space it out over a couple of days. That's all, just to avoid the spam. So that's just a governor to keep things organized, not really a limit for you. Okay, Amy, what else? Jackie, I know if you have questions. I'm going to Amy because she's on that Facebook group. I want to make sure those questions get answered.
Yeah, no questions on Facebook yet. I've just been copying all of the questions from here onto Facebook. So when you guys rewatch, they're there.
Fantastic. Jackie, what do we got?
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to have you cover one of the questions, more of like the HomeKeepr general, and then there are a couple in terms of command, but maybe I'll have you go through the command again, and then we'll kind of keep all the command questions together.
All right, stay tuned.
So
We're going to do the whole command thing again, everybody. Just sit tight. I want to make sure HomeKeepr was under your belt first. I'm sorry, Jackie.
Yeah, and I'm sure other command questions will come up once you run through that again too. If you could just cover what the cost is for vendors when they're invited to claim their profile.
Yes. Okay. So vendors. Let's talk about the vendors here. Again, this is your vendor list. You may, depending on your market center or your local association, when you create your HomeKeepr account, you might see an option to add a list of vendors that somebody's already put together for you. That's an option for you. You are not compelled to use them. Once you import them, you don't have to keep them. This is your vendor list. It's just nice to have a starter kit, especially if you're new in the industry. It kind of makes you look like a pro out of the gate if your market center or your local association has some affiliates that can help you, but you are not compelled to keep them. You edit this vendor list however you want. All right, new subject. let's say you've been in the industry for 10, 15 years. Go ahead, Amy. You had a question?
So I just want to let everybody know, I know we're not all on the same board, but Main Street does have an option. So if you're part of Main Street, you will see what Dave was just talking about pop up as an option to feed those vendors in. That's all.
Wonderful. Perfect. So that's a starter kit for you. Now, let's say you have your own list of people that you work with. You know the best contractor, you know the best architect, you know the right moving company, you know your people, but you want to be recommending to people. And that's great. You pop them in here. Here's the thing. The minute you add them to HomeKeepr, they are in your account and your clients have access to them, right? We don't ever get in between you and your clients. If you're recommending them, you're recommending them. We don't make any judgments about that. Because again, your clients don't care about us. We're just some company. They might as well be at Angie's List or somebody else. What they care about is you. So this vendor list is yours. However, these vendors aren't going to know you are recommending them unless you tell them. And that is a huge piece of the value. Just think about it. If you heard about some architect was recommending you, what are you going to think about that architect? That's a point on their board, right? That's a little thumbs up for them. You're more likely to recommend them because they're recommending you. Now go the other way. Make sure you invite the vendors. Make sure they know you're recommending them because those people are sources of leads. If some homeowner is getting their house painted, any good painter is going to say, hey, what are you doing? Oh, we're thinking about moving. Oh, do you have a realtor yet? Boom, that's your intro. You want these people thinking about you. Invite them to HomeKeepr. So Jackie's question is about, okay, what happens when I invite a vendor? For vendors, HomeKeepr is like Facebook or LinkedIn. They get a free profile. They can add pictures, logo, video, office hours, specialties, their entire business description, all for free. If they want to, they have an option to upgrade to get more visibility, just like you do with Facebook or LinkedIn, but they don't have to. Whoever you are recommending, that is what will appear in HomeKeepr. We just suggest you invite them so they can claim their profile and look better, and you get the benefit of the sphere of influence marketing. Hope that was clear.
So if they upgrade, what does that do for them?
They get more visibility in our system. In search results, they would appear higher up for general search. If a homeowner just finds HomeKeepr by themselves, right, unconnected to an agent, who goes first, right? Our upgraded pros, our advantage pros go first. But your pros are always first on your list. You understand? Whoever you're recommending, that's who your client is seeing, period. Who your clients are seeing, excuse me. Subject-verb agreement there. Apologize about that. All right, Jackie, what else?
Then we have a follow-up question. When they invite their vendor, are they able to see other vendors in their profile that agent is recommending in their directory?
Vendors, anybody who sees your directory. So with HomeKeepr, let me just show you something here. Give you a sense of how the whole thing works. I'm in the important links section, client invitation. When a client is invited to HomeKeepr, when they don't go to the moving concierge, I didn't go over the moving concierge. I should go over that in a minute. Anybody can search your vendor list, especially if you put your vendor list on your website through one of the widgets. So vendors can see who you're recommending, right? So it's a public list that's adding value. So if you are recommending two architects, both architects are going to see that you're recommending both of them. I assume that was the question. If it's not, please type it again and Jackie will make me refine the answer to better answer your question.
Yeah,
No, that sounded good. And it's not in their, oh, sorry, Amy. It's not in their profile. They would have to take that step to go to that search widget.
Yes, correct. If a homeowner will have to search on your in your vendor list to see the list of vendors. And I'm sorry, Amy, go ahead. What were you going to ask?
I was just going to tell Penn to feel free to unmute if he had more questions, but he wrote in the chat that answered it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ben. What else, Jackie? Because I want to do the command, and it also dovetails in moving concierge as well.
Yes. So I think the way that we can kind of lead into concierge is we had a couple people ask what the cost is, and then someone also asked how we're able to provide it for free. So if you want to cover both of those and then kind of lead into concierge that way.
Brilliant. I love it. Okay. I'd like everybody to pay attention to this point because it comes up in every webinar and every realtor asks this, and it's an important question. What is the cost of HomeKeepr to you and to your clients? And the answer is $0. HomeKeepr is free to you. It is free to your clients. It is not a catch. I'm going to tell you exactly how the revenue model works, so it won't be at all ambiguous. You'll understand exactly. Here's how this works. You guys get it for free. In HomeKeepr, we have a feature called our Moving Concierge. Moving Concierge is helping a homeowner set up services for their new home. So this isn't for everybody. This isn't for a past client. This isn't for someone who moved a month ago and you're reaching in touch with. This isn't for a prospect that you're farming or working on that might buy in the future. The Moving Concierge is specifically for people who are under contract to buy or sell a home. Because if they're buying a new home, they got to do a bunch of stuff. You guys know the craziness really begins once the contract is signed. Now they got a list a mile long of things they got to do, including set up cable, internet, phone, home alarm, insurance, utilities, all for their new home. And if you've moved recently, you know what a massive pain that is. You got to call a bunch of companies, multiple companies. It's hours on the phone. We actually researched this. It can be 5 hours on the phone and it can be dozens of phone calls. So what did we do? We created a Moving Concierge that can do all of this for your clients in one phone call in 30 or 40 minutes. We can save them hours out of their life during an incredibly stressful time because our call center has the software to connect to cable, internet, home alarm, insurance, get the utilities set up. We'll do three-way calling for local utilities who are fussy and don't want to have an electronic hookup system, and it's all branded to you, right? So what happens is when you invite a client to the Moving Concierge, we'll show you how to do that in a second. We're going to call them. We're going to say, hey, this is Melissa's Moving Concierge. This is Katie's Moving Concierge. This is Jennifer's Moving Concierge. How can we help? How can we get your home set up? And your branding and experience. There's two reasons this is important, okay? The first reason is kind of obvious. It's important because you're in the business of helping homeowners. They're under stress, they're moving, you're helping them. That's easy, right? I think almost as important, if not maybe even more important, is you're setting the stage for after the sale, right? You're letting your client know, hey, I'm more than just a transaction. My job isn't done. I'm not done with you. We're not finished. Once the closing happens, I can help you with your home overall. So if you can get them to the Moving Concierge and help them with those problems, solve those problems, you can get them used to the idea that you're going to be there. So when they get a blog post from you or a maintenance reminder from you, oh yeah, Katie helps me with my home. Tammy helps me with my home. Beth helps me with my home. And they're more likely to receptive to those things. And it's going to set up the whole post-sale relationship. Again, why? We want to keep our clients forever. Why? Future business and referrals. So now, Jackie, I'm going to use this as a lead back into the automation and Moving Concierge. Is that, or other questions I should cover now?
Patty had asked, Patty, these are great questions, by the way. She had asked if it's going to work for both buyers and sellers. I know this is one of our most popular ones, so I figured we'll get that question out of the way if you want to cover that now.
If somebody is moving in the 50 United States of America, we can help them get set up. Okay, so it certainly works for sellers in that regard. The one thing we need, however, is their new address and the move date. If you have that information, absolutely. Make sure sellers have access to this because you're helping them out. Same reason that, like we talked about before, customer service relationship. For buyers, we find that most associates are more likely to have access to move date and the new address. So we generally talk about buyers, but it works just as well for sellers. Okay, so now let's talk about the integration again. So just to quickly review the first part, we are now part of KW Command. We are in the marketplace. When you find us in the marketplace, you try the free edition or activate or whatever it says in that button. They're refining these versions all the time. It's going to say purchase it for $0. It's free. There are no upgrades. This is free to you. We talked about our revenue model. That's how it's free to you guys. You go to my apps and now you'll click on HomeKeepr. And either you'll be logged right in, you'll have to give us the proper email address, or you'll create a HomeKeepr account on the fly. We went over this already. Again, it's super easy. It's your contact information. It's your headshot. It's your logo. Happy days. Now what happens? Again, this is about automating a process to reduce steps for you. So let's talk about the first day registration, because the registration process is different than everything else going forward. Let's talk about registration. When you register, if you sign up for this today, You'll get an email. It'll say, hey, congratulations, you're in. We're not going to get started until tomorrow. The next day, tomorrow, you'll get an email from us saying, hey, you signed up for HomeKeepr yesterday. We check the database in the morning. We check the database once every day in the morning. That's why we do this once a day. In the morning, we check the database and we look at your contacts in Command. And what we do is we pull down the 500 most recent contacts you have in Command. So some of you might have 1,000 contacts in there already. No problem. We're going to pull the 500 most recent ones. You will then decide yourself, of those 500, which ones get invited. We call it opt-in. So the first time, because many of you have a big database and not everybody is really the right client for HomeKeepr yet, you're not used to the system yet, you have to opt in. We don't do it automatically for the first one because we want you guys to have more control. We did this because when we tried it out, that's what realtors told us. You know what? On the first one, I'd like to decide who gets invited and who doesn't. Happy days. And by the way, your decision isn't final. You can always go back and invite them to HomeKeepr if you'd like. Okay? That's the day one registration. Going forward, so next week, next month, right? Every day in the morning, we'll look back and say, who did you add to Command yesterday? So as you go about your business, you're slowly adding contact. Oh, I met somebody at an open house. Oh, I met somebody at a friend's house. They're now part of my sphere. They're now in Command. The next day, we're going to automatically invite them to HomeKeepr. Unless you opt them out. You always have the option to opt them out. We don't ever force anybody to do anything. But to make life easier, we've responded, because obviously we've been doing this for a lot of years. Realtors are like, hey, when will this happen automatically? This is it. So every day, we look back one day, who'd you add to Command? We email you, right? We're going to email you and say, oh, yesterday you added these 5 people to Command. We're about to invite them to HomeKeepr. If you don't want them, just click on the email and opt them out. Otherwise, it'll happen automatically. Again, this is so it reduces steps for you. And what does it mean? It means they get the blogs. It means they have the ability to create a HomeKeepr account if they want, right? You're offering them value, basically. When you are looking at HomeKeepr, right? And you're looking at a list of clients. So we email you, we just say like, in a week, okay, it's the morning, you added 5 people to Command, you get the email. Here is where you can add people to Moving Concierge. This is your opportunity to say, ooh, the person I added yesterday, I actually added because they went under contract. I want to add them to Moving Concierge. And it'll kick off that process where they get help setting up their new home, etc. Alternatively, you may say, I don't want them to get the email invitation because they're buying a piece of land. Great, you can opt them out. And as I said, you can always go back to HomeKeepr, go into your client section, right? And look at everybody. So you'll have 3 lists. You'll have people you've invited to HomeKeepr, people who are not being invited to HomeKeepr but are in Command, and then pending invitations, right? So you can always have the flexibility to say, ooh, you know what? I wanted to invite that person, but I changed my mind, or I didn't want to invite that person, but now I do. You're in control if you want to do it. But in the background, it's all happening automatically. All you have to do is adjust for outliers. When things are a little bit different for some reason, you can go in and change things up. But this is how the Moving Concierge works, right? Like the idea of helping clients out their new homes. This is your opportunity to onboard those people into the Moving Concierge. Okay, long answer to a question, but it was part of the presentation anyway. I want to make sure you guys saw that. Amy, I'm going to go to you first. How are we doing on questions?
Good. No new questions on Facebook. We did get a couple in the chat.
Jack, do tell.
Dave, can you jump to the slide in this PDF deck? Oh, by the way, for anyone that wants a copy of Dave's presentation, I just put it in the Zoom chat. And if for some reason it won't let you download it or you change your mind after, just email support@homekeepr.com and we can send you a copy too.
It's always available.
Dave,
we'll make sure Amy has this too, by the way. It's available to everybody.
Okay, perfect. Can you jump to the slide that has the invitation preview screenshot on there? We had someone ask what the invitation will look like.
The invitation, yes. There it is.
Oh, you just passed it. Yep, there it is.
That's the invite email. Again, this is good news for the homeowner, right? Homeowners react very well to this because you're offering to help solve problems that they have. Anybody who's owned a home for more than a few months knows stuff goes wrong, right? And often it goes wrong in a direction where I don't know how to fix a roof. I mean, I know what a roof does, but if there's a leak in it, I don't know what to do. I can't replace sheetrock. I can't fix a washer dryer, right? Everybody knows these problems come up. What you're saying is when the problem arises, I'm here to help. So clients like getting these invites. You're not selling them anything. There's no listings, right? You're not asking for anything from them. You're offering value. It ends up being very popular with homeowners. What else, Jackie?
Can I ask a question regarding that invite? So that it comes from or it's from us? I mean, I know it's coming from you, but
it comes from us on your behalf. It's branded to you.
Okay.
Right?
And how do you keep it from going to spam?
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't. The best thing, what we try and do is, you may have remembered earlier I mentioned, we try and limit the amount of invites that go out in any one day, so to prevent getting marked as spam, but we have no special ability to defeat a spam filter. I would say, Jennifer, that the reason I harp on the moving concierge is to get the spam filter, but in your client's mind, you want them thinking that you're adding value after the sale, right? You want to get them out of that mindset. Oh, Jennifer helped me with my home. She was fantastic. I loved her for the process, but she's not part of my life now because I'm not moving. We're trying to say, no. You are part of their life because you have value to offer. And that moving concierge acts as a bridge between the two. So a little off topic, but I'm trying to get at the same idea. What else? This is a great group. You guys are asking good questions. You can tell when people are asleep and not listening because they don't ask questions. You guys have good questions.
Absolutely.
We had one come in across Facebook that says, do you sell our clients' info?
Great question. Absolutely not. We do not sell your client info for two very good reasons. One, it's not profitable. And two, you'd stop using us. If realtors ever thought that we were selling their client data, we'd be out of business the next day. It's as simple as that. We are a realtor-based company. You guys are the backbone of HomeKeepr. Why? You know who the good pros are in your area. I don't know who's good in Glen Ellen. I have no idea who the best architect is. You guys know that. And you know the clients. I don't know your clients. You know them. So we never, ever do anything with your client data because, again, it's not profitable and it would shut us down immediately.
And if I could just add in there, anything that you guys see integrated into Command, the only way for those companies to get integrated is to have signed the data pledge with Keller Williams. So your data is protected for all the companies that have partnered and fed into Command as well.
It turns out Keller Williams is pretty fussy about that, and we are quite happy. Again, that's our business model. We have clients who are not Keller Williams, and we treat them the same way. Okay, it's got nothing to do with that pledge. Other than that is also true, right? We are in the realtor business. We're not into messing with your clients. It doesn't help us at all. What else, guys?
Dave, as a follow-up, Patty had asked if we sell realtor information, and then someone else asked who has access to their client data.
Okay, no one has access to your client data. It's only in here for your benefit. In the moving concierge, one of the great things about the moving concierge is we're not out there telling all the companies out there, oh, so-and-so moved. That data is actually available in lots of places. We actually act as a screen for that because our operators are simply telling your clients what's available. Okay, in your area, there's Vivint, AT&T, and Dish Network. I'm making something up. And then they decide, and only once the client has decided, then they contact Vivint and help that client sign up specifically with Vivint. So it's only with the relationship with that one company. It's not a blast out like, hey, Jane Smith is moving, everybody have at it. That's not how we work. We're there to protect the client data. And no, we don't sell realtor data either. If you can look at the terms of service, another situation where if I was selling agent data, we'd be out of business. It's not in our business plan. We need to work with realtors over a long period. We've been with Keller Williams since 2015, right? We don't sell agent or client data. It's not good business. It's not our business plan. Our business plan is to help you. What else?
Dave, can you show them the marketing materials tile
Yes.
on the web dashboard?
Sure can. This is a fun one, guys. So, I didn't go over every nook and cranny of HomeKeepr out of time constraints. I want to be really respectful of your time. I know how busy realtors can be, but there's lots of stuff in HomeKeepr, okay? And I hope you poke around. One of them is our marketing materials. It's down here. It says marketing materials. And this is for your clients who aren't necessarily the most tech savvy people. Sometimes people like a closing folder. Some people like the actual hard copy of the closing folder. And this is the ability, this section has flyers that are automatically populated with your contact information, picture and logo that you can download and print out and pop into a closing folder. You can have them at an open house. You can have flyers that you give to vendors that you know, right? If you're a real hardcore sphere of influence marketer, maybe you make it your business to meet with local businesses. Maybe you want to give them a flyer. You absolutely can. Maybe you're really sophisticated and you put this in a pitch book and make HomeKeepr and the moving concierge part of your value add to get new clients. Hey, I'm more than just a transaction. As you interview realtors, ask the competition if they have a moving concierge and a client for life program that actually helps with home ownership, right? You can make it part of your pitch book. The point is, these are all automatically created. They're available in the marketing section. You download them, print them out. Some people take the images and put it on their website and use it as a link to HomeKeepr. There's a lot of goodies you can do. And by the way, while we're on the subject, Jackie, about goodies, I'm going to talk about the help section. In HomeKeepr on the upper right here, we have this help section. And if you click on realtors, because obviously that's what you guys are, there are tons and tons and tons of articles about the finer points, tips, tricks, advice, information, lots of goodies. And I should talk about that other stuff as well. You can see there's just a million pieces of information in here. So if you kind of burn the midnight oil sometimes, maybe some of you don't get to really do your work until everybody's fed and in bed, and you finally sit down and suddenly it's 10 o'clock at night. Does that sound familiar? Well, you can have access to this information, right? It's here for you. In addition, and I hope Jackie will put it in the chat, we have a YouTube channel called youtube.com/HomeKeepr with tons of how-to videos. We have full-length webinars. We have feature-by-feature stuff, right? So there's all sorts of resources. Why? Because you're our business, right? If realtors don't succeed, we don't succeed. What else do we have question-wise? We getting down to the bitter end here? I'm going to get sad in a minute. We're going to part ways. I'm going to miss
We
you
got
guys.
a long one, but I think a good one from Jessica. It says, I love the blog content, but would like to add more photos and add, it moved, sorry. Would like to add more photos and make it more interactive with questions and polls by using the content on a social story. Do you create social stories from the blog content? Or if not, could we do this on our own as long as we credit and tag HomeKeepr? My clients in Sphere will respond better to this type of media. I love that question, Jessica. Thank you.
Fantastic question, Jessica. The answer is, if you give us credit, you can do whatever you want with it, right? I want to point out something. These blogs are each individual links. So feel free to grab this link, copy it, and pop it anywhere you want. There are realtors, for instance, in my market that do a quarterly newsletter. And in the quarterly newsletter, they take a screenshot of this image and they put it in their newsletter and they link to this actual blog post so the client can go to get the content. Okay? So feel free to be creative with this content. Post it in multiple places, put it in your newsletters, put it in a CRM. You'll notice that there are, I think, 300 articles. Maybe what you do is find the ones that are for buyers, and you have a little drip campaign for buyers, or maybe an email you send to buyers with 5 articles about buying a home. Maybe the same thing with sellers. Maybe you put all the blog posts together about home decorating. When a client has home decorating issues, you send them those articles. Feel free to be creative with it. Okay. Now, in terms of your sort of more sophisticated social media question, the answer is no. We don't do stories. We don't do those sorts of things. All we do is write the content, put it in this format, and we can automatically post it to Facebook for you, but that's the limit of what we can do there. You feel free to jump in and do with what you want with it, though, okay?
And Dave, I know I've talked to some of our agents and market centers about how you guys have such good content in the blogs, but they are long format. So one of the suggestions I've given out is to take one topic and break it into 3 posts. And you can also always link it back to the original article. So if people want the whole story right away, they can just click that link and it will link back to your branded blog post.
There you go. I think that if you are a creative person, there's a lot you can do with it. If, however, the nice thing about this is that if you're caught in a week where you get a little extra busy and you don't have time to do all that creative stuff, you know that in the background, your Facebook business page is getting the content, and it's sort of a safety net for you. Your social media feed will be active with relevant content branded to you, right? It just makes things easier in that regard. It doesn't limit what you can do with it. Go for it. But it's nice to have in the background, that this is running. What else, guys? This is a serious group. I didn't understand. I should have stretched out before doing this or had my ankles taped or something. This is real. You guys aren't kidding around.
I think we covered all the questions in the Zoom chat. Dave, someone said they love your Day Man poster behind you, by the way.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia, one of my favorite shows.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I am so grateful that Dave and Jackie were able to hop on today. They have given us so many great nuggets. I'm just going to go ahead and stop the screen sharing. If people have questions, please feel free to do that again. We're getting lots of thank yous in the chat right now. I do want to reiterate that you guys, we packed this with, there's all kinds of value they have. Dave mentioned the app, the blog, which you can use on social, a website. You can embed that into the KW website. You can use it through email. They can send it out for you through email. There was a lot of automation he shared about, connecting with people and just like making things easy, using that easy button. What a great leverage tool, and all free and data protected on top of that. I mean, what more can you ask for? This is fantastic. So again, I want to thank you guys so much for spending the time to come out with us today and be on our Zoom and master your marketing. For everybody on here, I do want to let you know and remind you, for those of you that have participated, we do host Command on Demand 9 times a week. So if you want help getting that blog feed into your KW site, hop on to Command on Demand. It's at 11 and 3. I'm going to put the website link in the chat. So if you go to the E2P Success website, just scroll down to the classes and you'll see Command on Demand listed, and you can just hop into those. There's 4 different leadership members currently that host those. So we can help you get HomeKeepr connected to Command. We can help you get their blog embedded in your website. We can help you with all your Command questions. Is there anything else you guys would like to add before we part ways today? Oh, I see typing happening. Oh, Dave said thank you in the chat to everybody. All right. Well, let's put on some music and dance on out. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you very much, guys. Amy, thank you. This was fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, and just a reminder for everybody on here, if you want to rewatch it, it is available in the E2P Mastermind on Facebook, and it will be on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thesocialstack. That'll go up Saturday morning.
And if no one's home,
Thanks, guys.
when I'm away, if I went hurt my body, baby, would you love me the same? I can feel all my bones coming back and I'm craving motion. Mama never really learns how to live by herself. It's a curse and it's growing. You're a haunted, I'm an ocean. Oh.